From the studios of Tucson Business RadioX, recorded in the Stewart Title corporate offices on Broadway, you are now listening to The Mark Bishop Show. And now here's your host, Mark Bishop.
And welcome to another Mark Bishop Show, and of course, The Reading Corner, which has got quite popular. A new book advocating for simplicity and pleasure to rejuvenate your life. Gee, does that sound good? I'm talking about coming from somebody who's just coming out of COVID, and I feel for those of you that have. So let me ask you a question, folks. Can you look back at your life and say you've had no regrets? Are you bogged down by the meaningless complexities of the world? Well, in his witty conversational book, Let's Talk, debut author Art Rios wants to make sure his readers know that it's never too late to make your life exciting, easier, and exceptional. Art Rios asks this question: when, where, why, and how did life stop being exciting and straightforward? Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, you know, we've taken on so much stress and worry all the time, but why and for what? Welcome, Art Rios. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Mark. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm glad you're doing well and that you're feeling better, because it's definitely a scary time for everybody. So I'm glad that you're up and about, brother.
Thank you, man. Well, interesting. You're a trial lawyer by profession, a student of humanity by choice, and a friend to all by nature. And you were inspired to write Let's Talk because of the ways you saw people really overcomplicating their lives. Is that correct?
That's completely right. I as you were saying, I don't know at what point we've decided that life had to be complicated and boring. And I'm really hoping that we can get everybody out there to change that mentality and realize that we are here to enjoy ourselves. I'm not saying that you go out and be a crazy clown and not be responsible, but thankfully the day is divided into 3 8-hour segments, so we can sleep for 8, we can work for 8, but it's the other 8 that we've forgotten has a critical purpose, and that's for us to enjoy life and to make sure that we live each day to the fullest, because we never know what tomorrow may bring.
That's right. I'm doing research on you. I found that you were someone that people tend to gravitate to for help. You tend to care about people, always have, I guess, and this connection must have given you the inspiration to write Let's Talk.
Oh, absolutely, Mark. Ever since I was in high school, I remember that I always had many friends, and I think it's because I'm very genuine in my friendships and with people in general. I truly love people. Actually, as we're talking, I'm in my office, and I have it in big bold letters in the wall in front of me. It says "Help and inspire others," and that's sort of the doctrine of my life. And it's always come from the heart, because I believe, and as I mentioned in the book, Let's Talk, I believe that gratitude and kindness are very important. And that's kind of always been the beacon of the way I've led life. And I believe that other people have caught on that I'm genuine about it. So people tend to gravitate towards me, just as I tend to gravitate towards them and really be willing to listen to them and to strike up a conversation above all, which, as you know, Mark, unfortunately, they have eroded.
Well, some simple examples you offer in each of your talks can be as easy as spending more time with family, relaxing with a long lunch, or enjoying a lazy Sunday afternoon in your pajamas. Improving,
right.
Yeah, I like that one. Improving your life doesn't have to be complicated, right? It's just a matter of putting a little common sense and thought into the way that
Right.
you're living your life right now.
Exactly. And the reality is it's not complicated. The thing is, with the with the advances in technology, and don't get me wrong, I think technology is a wonderful thing, but just like everything in life, it has its place and purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But technology got us really revved up. We're always going. We're always receiving information, constantly bombarded by information, and we believe that if we're not attached to our devices, the world will end. Well, I can tell you that I've tested it, and the world will not end if you shut off your phone. I've actually run the experiment a few times, and the world, keeps spinning around, and the sun still shining.
Right.
So it's a matter of just taking a moment and realizing, wait a minute, I'm going too fast. I'm not enjoying life, and starting to get in that mentality. In the book, one of the things, actually, the very first chapter is about, and my first talk is about pursuing pleasures. And it's about defining what gives you joy. It doesn't necessarily have to be naughty. It can be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be something that, that's depraved or anything like that. But it's you defining what brings you happiness, what makes you happy, and then making sure that you define those pleasures based on what your heart tells you, and not thinking that that's what society wants you to do, or that's what others want you to do, or that's what you're expected to do. In other words, find your joy, which is very simple to do. All you have to do is sit down with a glass of wine and say, all right, what is it that I like to do? What makes me happy? And then make sure you do a little bit of that each day. I mean, and throughout the book, I'm always advocating about moderation and responsibility.
Right.
But the reality is that we've forgotten that with moderation and responsibility, there is a benefit or an outcome or a reward to that, which is pleasure and joy and happiness. But it's a matter of sitting down and just kind of pausing and saying, all right, wait a minute.
We're going to cover a lot of these topics in a minute. I want to get through an awful lot. So
Sure.
In a time when the world looks bleaker than ever, you're encouraging your readers to concentrate on the here and now, to disengage from the sometimes toxic environment of social media, and to focus on what matters most, spending time with family and friends, being thankful for the things that you do have, unwinding. We talk about a glass of wine. A lot of people don't drink. You make it sound very, very simple. Now, accolades for the book. Susan Keefe is a Midwest book reviewer. 5 stars you're given, where she says the power of art, Rios, positively shines right through in this life-changing book. So it's highly recommended. Talking about those topics, let's take them one by one. Short briefs. The art of the happy hour. Your point on that.
I'm sorry I laugh. It's just that is the one chapter everybody talks about, and it's interesting why that seems to be a magnet for the readers. Okay, well, happy hour, short and brief. It's not the modern happy hour where you go to the pub in the corner and for $5 you get 50 beers. It's about going back to the elegance of happy hour, back when our parents and grandparents used to do it. They'd come home after a hard day and have a glass of wine or two, have a martini or two before dinner, unwind, talk to your,
the good old
it's
60s,
just classy.
the 60s.
Yeah, there you go. It's just a classy way to unwind, talk to the family, talk to your significant other, or if you work from home, hey, you close the home office door and that's the end of the day, and you just unwind. It's about doing it in an elegant way. And like you say, some people don't drink. It doesn't have to be wine. It doesn't have to be a martini. It can be a cup of coffee. It can be a soft drink. It can be a cup of tea. It doesn't really matter. It's the actual act of stopping and putting aside an hour to think about the day, what went well, what went bad, and then just starting to ease into those 8 hours of enjoyment.
Well, it's a glass of communication. Let's put it that way. I'm going to skip them over. We'll never get done. How to be yourself, how to simplify the declutter in your life, and how to declutter your life. The power of kindness and gratitude. That's an important one. A balanced life of pleasure and responsibility, and disconnecting from technology if you can. I don't know what the heck we ever did before social media and the phones and everything. My wife is a classic example, but she has fortunate. She has friends all over the world. So when she's been ill too with me with COVID, it's nice to be able to immediately, when you've got hundreds of friends all over asking after you and caring about you. In the old days, man, it would have taken how long for the letter? So, you know.
Course.
Now, Grady Harp, Amazon Hall of Fame, top 50. She's a reviewer. Grady is rather 5 stars. And says this book is so full of healthy, helpful energy that it just soars. Well, listening to you, pal, with your energy, no wonder, I can tell you. When you write, it must just flow. So you're a man, Art, who strongly believes in enjoying the best that life has to offer. You want to encourage others that it's okay. It's okay to enjoy life, you know?
Right.
No, beg your pardons. Just go enjoy.
No guilt.
Yeah,
No.
Go guilt. That's the perfect word.
Yeah.
But do you take care not to advocate for decadence and debauchery?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why I say it's all with responsibility and moderation, and I really talk a lot about honor and doing things correctly in the book, and I think that you're right to enjoy life and to pursue your pleasure ends when it starts to infringe on somebody else's rights or comfort.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely not about going out and being crazy. I mean, the old adage that it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Well, yeah, that can come in a little bit. I'm not saying that you have to be a saint either, but as long as we know, everybody knows when you're getting close to the line. And I advocate enjoying life always with moderation and with responsibility. And the reason, honestly, for moderation is if we party ourselves out in one day, what about the next day? Then you're feeling bad and you've just ruined the next day's enjoyment. So it's about enjoying each and every day, but not going over the top. And I always talk about whatever you do being kind, being grateful for the moment and the enjoyment, but absolutely enjoy life to the fullest with class and with elegance. That's really the message that I'm trying to
across,
pass on. Yeah,
well,
and to do it as simply as possible.
Yeah, exactly. As simply as possible. Everything's too hard. I got
Yeah.
a few closing questions, Art, I'd like to ask you.
Absolutely.
That I'd like to get through. By the way, folks, the book, Let's Talk About Making Your Life Exciting, Easier, and Exceptional. Okay, and we're going to talk all about where you can get it and different websites, and no doubt it's on Amazon as well, but we'll check with that in a minute. I'm talking with Art Rios. And in closing, I want to ask you, we know what inspired you to write the book because you care about people, happy hour, what about for people struggling to believe in themselves? What advice can you give them, Art?
I think that's actually one of the first 3 talks in the book. It's about being yourself. You need to realize that, first of all, I'm the best example of this. I'm a big guy. I always have been. I mean, I'm not like Jabba the Hutt, but I'm a big guy and I'm chunky. Always have been. But for way too long, I thought that until I didn't, have that Olympic swimmer physique and all that I couldn't live life, that I couldn't accomplish anything.
Mm-hmm.
Then I heard Oprah one day. That I read a quote from her where she said that her looks didn't define who she was. And that really sunk into me. And I said, wait a minute, I'm a decent person. I'm not better than anybody, but I'm not worse than anybody either. Then I started realizing that God gave me certain gifts, certain qualities that serve a higher purpose. Well, I believe that we all are there. Everybody, you need to look in the mirror and say, look, this is who I am. I'm nifty. I'm not perfect, but I'm not horrible either. And the moment you accept yourself and you say, you know what, Mark, you're a good guy. You're doing a good thing. You're out there getting good messages, good vibes to people. That means a lot. And this is the way that God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, the force, destined you to be. And thank you. And I'm going to do everything I can with what I have. But first of all, I'm going to accept myself. And in the chapter on gratitude, one of the things that I really point out that are critical is that you have to be grateful. You have to be very thankful for all the things you have. But the first thing we need to do is to thank ourselves for what we do every day, for our work, for going out there, with the daily grind, the struggle, maintaining our families, doing what we can for our community. You need to thank yourself first. And then after you thank yourself and you have that acceptance, you can do whatever you want. I mean, I really believe that.
Yep.
But the first step is saying, you know what, I'm okay.
I totally agree. I read a book many, many years ago, and it's always been my guideline. I am me, and I am okay.
Yep.
Now, where do you like to go to be alone, if you do?
I do, actually, and I like to do it. I'm actually going to be doing it in a couple of weeks. I think there's a talk in the book. It's called 100 Hours of Solitude, and I think that it's a very healthy thing for us to maybe twice a year, 3 times a year, to take aside 100 hours. That's about 3-4 days, and to go off on our own and just go and find your center, see where you're at. Spend some time reading in solitude. Try to get a little bit away from technology. Of course, you're going to miss your family. You're going to miss your friends and all that. But that's the whole point. I like to go off to a little log cabin that's quite a drive from the house. But it's perfect. It's perfect because I can really have some peace and joy and quiet. And I think it's important for us to do that. It's not antisocial because, to the contrary, when you come back, I call it the solitude sojourn as well. When you come back from your sojourn, you're going to be really grateful and appreciate the ones that you left behind for your 100 hours. I think that is a wonderful and very healthy thing to do just a couple times a year. It's not that much.
All right, my closing question to you. All of your advice, what's the one thing you want people to remember the most?
Be grateful. Be grateful. It's
Powerful, isn't it? Very powerful.
That's it. 2 thumbs up is better than 2 toes up. Just the fact that we're.
I hadn't heard that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'll steal that.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, the fact that you're alive, that means be grateful for that, and let's be grateful for everything we have, and especially in the good times. It's, and the bad times. You're always grateful no matter what, because things, as long as we're alive, we're in the fight.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed it. The Reading Corner, a new book advocating for simplicity and pleasure to rejuvenate your life. And you'll get a giggle out of it. He's a funny fella. And, he teaches what he preaches and preaches what he teaches. I mean, he's down there. Okay, now let's talk about the book. Amazon, obviously. Tell me where I can buy this thing.
Sure, it's on Amazon. You can get the ebook. I'm particularly fond of the audiobook because I narrated it myself. And there's a paperback. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, pretty much anywhere. Or you can go direct to the website. It's buyletstalk.com, buyletstalk.com. Go straight to the website. One of the cool things that I've enjoyed about the book, we just hit bestseller nationally and internationally in about 4 categories a couple of weeks ago. So I'm very proud.
Congrats.
The coolest thing, though, thank you, Mark, is that I've asked people to reach out to me, so we do have a conversation. Send me an email, and I'm already almost done with the second book, actually, and a lot of it has been inspired by email. So I'm asking people, of course, buy the book, enjoy it, but let me know how you feel, and let's strike up a conversation, because that's really what I want. I don't want to be anybody's guru. I want to be everybody's friend. So go to the website. buyletstalk.com, or go to Amazon, and I hope to hear from everybody. And Mark, I can't thank you enough, brother, for your time. And again, God bless, and I'm happy that you're healthy. And actually, that I end every talk saying stay happy and healthy. So I wish the same to you and to all your listeners.
Oh, that's very kind of you. And of course, folks, Art's photograph and bio and details and contacts are all up on my channel on www.TucsonBusinessRadioX.com. It'll stay there forever. And, of course, the interview goes out on all sorts of podcast platforms across the globe, so you never know who hears it. But good luck with the second book, and well done on the first, and it was nice of you to take some time out. Thank you, Art Rios.
My pleasure. I'm happy to come back anytime. God bless, brother.
All right. Goodbye for now.
Bye, Mark. Thank you.